Hiya crafters, I have a couple fun and snarky cards to share with you just because. So to start off, I'm going to show you, I recently did a haul video of my very first order with LDRS Creative. They have these awesome stacked sentiments that you can stamp them once and then line up the squares on the stamps with the die and then die cut them all out at once. And then you have a bunch of really cool fishtail banner sentiment strips. So this was my first order with them. They are a small business in Michigan, which is cool because that's where I'm located. So in this video, I'm just going to kind of dive in and show you how I use them. But of course, you can absolutely do embossing with them and things like that. I'm just keeping it simple with stamping. But here are a couple photos of the finished cards that I'm going to make for you today using these strips and some awesome panels that I made with stencils and some copic colored critters. But they're fun, snarky sentiments. Some are more, traditional and heartfelt, but I'm just going to show you how I went about doing this. Now, when I batch strips like this, a lot of times I like to think in terms of getting the most mileage. So you can obviously stamp these in every color of the rainbow, but I find that when I keep it to neutrals, or maybe even like a teal, then I find like those are colors that I tend to use a lot. So, for the sake of time, I'm trying to stick with colors that I know are going to work on a lot of card panels that I make or card bases and things like that in the future. So I do tend to gravitate a lot towards teal. So that is one color that I'm using. But other than that, I'm just going to stamp with neutrals today. And you may have seen there, I was just conditioning the stamp. That's because it is a brand new stamp. Either wipe your hand over it just to get the manufacturer's gunk off of it, or maybe use an eraser to help condition the stamp. But you can see here I'm going to be stamping with both Distress Oxides as well as VersaFine Clear. Now Distress Oxides are pigment, so they stamp beautifully. You wouldn't get the same result if you stamped with Distress Inks because those are dye based. So the Distress Oxides are different in that way because they're partially pigment and they give you nice even stamping. So here you can see I'm bringing in the teal color. This is the new Salvage Patina. The other color that I was using that was gray was Weathered Wood, so I felt that was a good neutral. But I'm just stamping this a few times over, and these are little panels of 110-pound Nina Classic Crest Solar White. I just have them cut down to A2 size. And the stamp is basically a 4x4, so it fits fine in that space. You could probably go with a piece of paper a little bit smaller, but this was just easy for me to use because I had them already cut up. And here you can see I'm using the VersaFine Clear Nocturne, and this is a nice rich black. So you see those 4 squares around the outside. Those are handy because those line up with this die. Now this die will work with all of the straight stacked sentiment stamps that they sell in the shop, and you'll see I got quite a few, but there's even more that I didn't get. And then they also have other variations where it's more like a, I don't know, kind of like a rolling banner kind of thing. So, those stamps would match up with those, with that particular die. But I personally like the straight ones, and I like the ones with the fishtail banner because you can either leave the fishtail on there or you can snip them off and just make it like, a straight edge or a diagonal edge. So I feel like they're very versatile, and I'm not the best at cutting straight fishtails when I try and do it on my own, so I personally prefer that. Now here's my stitched edge rectangle dies, my most used anyway out of my stash, and it's from Paper Rose, and these are some previous panels that I ink blended. These are all with a Colorful Life Design stencils. If you're not familiar, I'm always using their stencils. I'm on their design team, but this first one is the umbrellas, and then these flowered ones are called Layered Fluffy Flowers. It's a really cool 3-part layered stencil, and then the other one is called Pot Holder. So I just had some fun laying down some ink, creating some very simple backgrounds with some bright colors. And here I'm shopping my critter book. So I have a sentiment book and I have a critter book, and these are baseball pocket protector sheets, and these are actually new pockets that I got recently. If you can see, there's a little bit of a lip on the top of the pockets, and that's to help kind of hold them in when I'm kind of chalking them full. The regular ones I still use in my sentiment binder, and they do work fine. You just don't want to pack them too full. But I did hear about these, so I thought I'd give them a try, and I will link them in the video description box below, as well as all the other items that I used. But I'm just kind of looking through my little critters. These are all stamped and colored, either with copics or like watercolor markers. And I just pick out a couple that I feel will go with the backgrounds. And these are the 2 backgrounds that I choose to use today. And I'm using the one stamp here out of many that I got, but it's got these kind of fun snarky sentiments, which is totally my jam. So just kind of picking out the ones that I want to use, and then all I have to do is just kind of put the cards together since I have all the pieces parts. So this is kind of my batching process. I have card bases ready to go, I have panels ready to go, I have backgrounds already made, and now things like this, having these sentiment strips, then I have these ready to go too. So and then obviously the cute little critters. If I feel like coloring, I'll kind of stock up that book. So you do whatever process works for you, but this is how I'm able to make so many cards at once, is just because I kind of break out the process into different steps and do what I feel like doing on one particular day, and then I have all the pieces parts ready to go, and when it's time to assemble cards, then it's pretty streamlined and quick for me. So here I'm using little fiddly bits of foam tape, my favorite. Just kidding, insert sarcasm here. But this is foam tape from scrapbook.com, and then I have little tiny strips, which I get from Amazon, which work perfectly behind little sentiment strips like this. So I will link those as well in the video description box below, but they give it a nice little bit of dimension, and they seem to be a similar height to the foam tape from scrapbook.com. So I'm just going to remove these backing pieces and put the pieces down where I want them. In this exasperated looking little unicorn. I think it's from Picket Fence, I think. I don't know. I'll link it in the video description box if it's still available, but it's this emotional unicorn, I think is what they call it, and it went perfectly with these funny little sentiments that I picked. So that's gonna finish this first card. I'm just liquid gluing the other sentiment on the inside. Now you could go a step further and continue the stenciling onto the inside of the card. Here's another card I put together off screen. You're flipping amaze balls. That's hilarious to me. That's definitely why I got this stamp set, because that sentiment makes me laugh. And then you're seriously way too cool. So this is the pot holder, and then I think it's a little MFT superhero cat, whatnot. I'm not sure. I'll link it below. And then I love you even when you're hangry. I'm pretty sure I should give this card to myself because I'm the one who's known for being hangry. I'm not the nicest when I'm hungry. So maybe I'll give this card to myself. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed these simple snarky cards. If you did, please hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel, and do check out the shop at LDRS Creative. They have all sorts of good stuff like this, fun items and crafty goodies. So, and also check out A Colorful Life Designs. I have a coupon, AmyFan10, that'll save you 10% on your complete order if you shop. So have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.